Sussex is not invited. King Charles did the right thing to hide Harry and Meghan at the coronation. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to Kate Middleton and the Queen News Channel. According to the royal expert, Ms. Angela Levin, it is wise and prudent on His Majesty King Charles's part to invite them for the coronation. She explains, I would bet it will be like the Jubilee, where we won't know until the last minute because the will they won't they headlines gives them lots of attention and gets lots of clicks for news sites. Chances are we have already had the answer through stories about the royal family protecting themselves and getting ready for Harry's visit, and also that Harry in a hurry plan that's been discussed. Now, if the Harry in a hurry plan actually ends up happening, he's going to be in the UK, but without Meghan or the kids for 24 hours, just long enough to go to the coronation, probably sit in the second or third row with the non-senior royals, and he won't get to officially participate in anything, and of course, no balcony appearance. And then, right after that, he's going to head back home to Montecito. But honestly, I don't feel like allowing them to distract anyone's attention from where it should be is okay. We should be focused on King Charles, Queen Camilla, and the rest of the senior royals. Now, the best way to deal with a screaming toddler who's stomping their feet or just laying down on the floor pitching a fit is to ignore them. And we can say the same for a narcissist. Now, does anybody want to watch a Harry and Meghan show? Of course not. And we don't want them to come because we understand how badly that is going to make Charles look, and it's just going to add a lot of stress to him. But it could be a matter of keeping the wild card in check by keeping Harry close, rather than having him launch some kind of crazy media attack on that very day. And it's going to make the gruesome twosome look even more hypocritical, because their narrative has been so focused on how cruel, racist, mean, nasty the royal family are, and how horrible the institution is. So if they show up for photo ops and want their kids on the balcony with this evil family, then yes, I think the whole world will see them for the hypocrites they really are. I mean, people have already been calling them out lately because Harry made the claim recently that, oh, they never said the family was racist. And of course, they lost a lot of support when he said that. Anyway, I know I'm going to enjoy the coronation. And if Harry is there, I do hope we don't have to see him. I hope the cameras can focus on something else. And you know what? I think the people who are there are going to show Harry exactly how they feel anyway. There will be some booing. It's also important to remember that Meghan and Harry left because they wanted to leave, and we thought they were going to settle down peacefully in California and actually make something of themselves, but obviously that has not happened. Instead, they've done everything in their power to make the firm look bad. They accused the royals of so many ugly things, and they also made a mockery of some of the royals' customs, traditions, and practices. The biggest one that stands out in my mind was about that curtsy. I mean, that was very disturbing. How dare they make a mockery of something like that? Now, in my opinion, that was not a joke, and it was not immaturity either. That came from them being so stupid and so arrogant. But the royal family, of course, handled that incident with dignity as they always do. They were quiet in their response, even when the two of them went overboard with things. They took it on the chin and they kept calm and carried on. So after all of the attacks from Meghan and Harry, what has happened to the firm's reputation? Well, not much. I mean, it's caused some stress, but overall it certainly didn't have the effect that Meghan and Harry were hoping for. And many of the accusations that have come from Meghan and Harry were immediately considered to be BS because that's exactly what they were. The royals are not the bad guys in this story. So I guess when I think about that, I understand why maybe it is best to just invite the two of them. And if they come, they can just be diplomatic and treat them the way that other guests are treated. They're not going to be treated like family, though. And another thing, I don't think it's a good idea to try to ask the two of them why they have done what they've done. I think they need to just realize they made a big mistake all on their own. It's important that nobody try to confront the two of them. Silence speaks volumes. So they can invite them, they can receive them, and then they can be left all on their own. They should be starting to finally understand all of their sins. And if they're not invited, then you know they're going to play that victim card. Meghan and Harry would not let that slide, and that could also pave the way for outsiders to be a little apprehensive about the attitude from the royal family. If you ask me, it's a good thing to just invite them, because if they were not invited, then really that would be giving them exactly what they want, because that would reinforce this idea that they're a couple of victims. Now, the real question is, why would anybody with any sense of dignity want to come to a function they know they're not really welcome to attend? I'm also guessing that King Charles would love for Harry to come, but considering the animosity that Meghan has spewed over the past 3 years towards the royal family, I mean, is it possible that he would want her there too? And also, why would she even want to come, other than, of course, for publicity? The impression I get from both Meghan and Harry is that they don't have any personal pride. They don't have any filter. They will do anything just to make a quick buck. They're going to sell out their families, their privacy, which, you know what, is a pretty pathetic, low moral state to be trapped in. I mean, how many people out there would accept an invitation to a function where they know that they're not really wanted? And in this case, they're not wanted by most people in the family and also most people in the whole country. The coronation is, first and foremost, an affair of the state. It's not just a little family get-together. And one problem is that Charles is not feeling very good about how his own image is taking quite a public beating. He doesn't know where to turn. He wants to do the right thing for his family, and of course, most of his family members don't trust Meghan and Harry at all, but he also wants the public to see him as a loving father. So if the palace ends up leaking the news that Charles wants to make peace with Harry before the coronation, I'm sure he thinks it will make him look better. And it will in some ways. There are a few well-organized groups who have been bombarding the palace with correspondence. So Charles, I think, has no doubt whatsoever that most people in the UK do not want Harry and Meghan to attend the coronation. And I'm sure Camilla is sharing her opinion on the whole thing too, so I think Charles just doesn't know what to do. He doesn't even want to see these letters that are coming from the people, and who can really blame him? I think it's just a relentless onslaught. And at this point, I think most people in the UK are not really interested in whether or not Charles is a good father. People just care about the fact that his son is an appalling individual. People care about what kind of king he's going to be and if he's going to listen to people. The coronation is a state occasion for the new king and his people, so Harry and Meghan simply do not need to be there. And what about William? Well, Harry went after William's lovely wife, and he implied that William and Catherine needed his help to protect their children. I understand the king loves his son no matter what. I'm a parent too, and he wants him in his life. But what Harry has done, it just crossed a line. It's too hurtful. It cannot be overlooked, and he has to face consequences for his awful behavior. It's important to remember that the coronation is a state occasion that is paid for by the taxpayers. This is not some family party. So Charles wants to appear to be the better person, the more noble person. Well, if he wants to play saint, he can do that on his own time. He doesn't need to be doing that on company time. And what about the other members of the audience? What about his other son, William, and also the thousands of dignitaries that are going to be there? Why should they have to deal with this piece of trash who sold out his own mother? If Charles cannot separate his duty to state from his own personal feelings, then I'm sorry, but he has no right to sit on that throne. That would be making a mockery of the crown. The whole world is paying close attention to Charles in his new role as king. Now, we all have family, and many of our families, probably most of our families, are pretty dysfunctional, so nobody really cares about his role as father. But what people do care about in these complicated times of political and economic stress is how he handles himself at a national and international level, even people who do not reside in Britain. Surely he realizes there is a big difference. I hope that he does. So please, dear God, allow him to keep the focus on things that are important. And you, do you agree with this view? Please tell me your opinion below in the comment section, and we can also discuss the royal family members. If you preferred our video this evening, please remember to like and share it with your friends and family who need it too. And please support us more by subscribing to Kate Middleton and the Queen News channel. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow.